This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Well, good morning and welcome to the Grow Omaha show, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. We are live from Midtown Crossing. We're sitting in the Sofra Kitchen restaurant, and we're going to have so much to talk about, things happening in the Midtown area. I'm Jeff Beals, your co-host. My other host, Trenton Magid, has the weekend off, and so we have a familiar voice here in his stead, Brad Williams. Good morning, Brad.
Hey, good morning, Jeff. Thanks for having me back, and it's great to be in Midtown Crossing.
Oh, I tell you what, this Sofra Kitchen place is amazing. I'm looking at the menu right now, and I'm kind of thinking after the show I'm going to order lox avocado toast, whole grain toast, fresh smashed avocado, smoked salmon, a whole bunch of other stuff. It sounds really good.
Yeah, it sounds delicious, and we all know you love your breakfast.
I do. In fact, Brad and I had breakfast earlier, and we are going to have more breakfast.
Second breakfast.
What was it? Taco Bell used to have fourth meal?
Yeah.
This is second breakfast.
Starting the day off right.
But yeah, this place is beautiful. If you've not been to Sofra Kitchen, it's inside the former Gray Plume space, so right on Farnham Street. And as the show goes along, we're going to talk about this place. We're going to talk about some of the other new businesses that have recently opened or are coming soon to Midtown Crossing. And we'll also talk in depth with one of them. Story's Coffee owner will be joining us later in the show. But Brad, this area, Midtown Crossing, has really been a center of gravity in urban Omaha ever since it opened many years ago.
Yeah, it's probably 12 years now, I think. And it's been fun. I've been photographing Midtown Crossing since the beginning, and it's just cool to see the change, and everything kind of grows up and matures, and it's just still a beautiful place in Midtown.
Well, you mentioned photoing it. As a lot of regular listeners know, you are the owner of Brad Williams Photography, and an amazing photographer, and you have a special event coming up tomorrow. I'm going to stop by, but tell us about it.
Yeah, it's my Beer with Brad holiday pop-up. It's from 1 to 5 at the Casual Pint at Countryside Village. Swing in, have a beer, and check out some photography.
Well, I went to it last year, and it was a great time. So I'll be there tomorrow, 1 to 5 at the Casual Pint in Countryside.
Yeah, Casual Pint's a great place, celebrating their 6th anniversary this week. So
time flies. Well, let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. They know mortgages, and they've known mortgages for more than 30 years. FHA, VA, of course, conventional loans. They do all of that. And this is a good time to talk to them. You know, people are still buying and selling houses more than you might think, given some of the things that have been happening in the news, quite a bit more than you might think. So you want to talk to them. In fact, a lot of times, right when you're first talking to your realtor, you may also want to talk to Eagle Mortgage to get that pre-approval letter. And over the last several years, the companies like them, mortgage brokers, have been proven to give borrowers a lot better deal and save a lot of money than the traditional banks. So we recommend you call Eagle Mortgage. You can find them online at eaglemortgagecompany.com, or you can simply stop by the office just south of 114th and Dodge. Well, Brad, let's get into the news. The first item we have is some national publicity for a new Omaha area golf club. It's called Lost Rail Golf Club. It is opened on the eastern hills of the Elkhorn River in Gretna, and recently was featured in Golf.com's article headlined, "The six new courses, or these 6 new courses have us giddy for their 2023 reveals." And it just talked about how nice it is and everything else. And, you know, the thing that's kind of cool about this, Brad, is that golf in Nebraska has quite a reputation, but so much of it that is nationally respected is out in the Sandhills. You know, this is right here in the metro.
Yeah, it's great. We do have some beautiful courses in the Platte River area of eastern Nebraska, but like you said, the Sandhills are just so beautiful, and those courses get all the recognition.
Yeah, and this one would be a heck of a lot easier for people to get
Yeah,
to.
I haven't been there, but I've driven by and I've seen some of the views from the road, and it's a beautiful place out there.
Yeah, it was very pristine, just a former cattle pasture that they converted earlier this year into this course, but it has very dramatic topography from what I understand.
100 years ago, the rail line that ran out to, I believe, Utan ran right through there, so that's where it gets its name, Lost Rail. So there's a valley down the middle, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, and if you go to their website, there's a cool story about that railroad line that kind of talks about all the politics that were involved in determining where the Burlington Northern rail track would go, and this was done basically for political reasons. It wasn't used for very long because it wasn't profitable.
No, it was one of the shortest rail lines. I mean, as far as time frame, one of the shortest ones in the state.
Well, you don't. When you think of places where everyone wants to move, you normally think of the Sun Belt, right? It was very interesting, though. Domino Magazine this week came out with a story entitled, "Here's Where Everyone Will Be Moving in 2023." So Domino analyzed year-over-year home sales growth across 100 metro areas in the country and came up with the projected 10 fastest growing. We're talking about 10 fastest growing where people are going to be moving. And you would think that top 10 would have a lot of Nashville, Austin, Charlotte. No, none of those are on it. Number 8, Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, that's surprising. I'm guessing, looking at the list, they did not take weather into account.
Not today.
There's some really cold weather. I mean, Buffalo, who just got, 8 feet of snow, is on the list. Omaha, where it's 11 degrees this morning, is on the list. There's just a lot of cold weather cities, which is good to see for us.
Yeah, and this is probably related to the high interest rates and the high cost of housing. And at times like this, maybe some cities that aren't the hot growing ones during good times tend to rise to the top. Like I remember during the previous big recession, 08 through 09, that era, Omaha boomed after that because a lot of the places that typically are hot aren't during downturns. We do well during downturns.
Yeah, we're a little more even keel during the economic cycles.
In case you're curious, the top 10, number 1, El Paso, Texas, 2, Columbia, South Carolina, 3, Hartford, Connecticut, 4, Buffalo, New York, 5, Little Rock, Arkansas, 6, Louisville, Kentucky, 7, Baltimore, 8, Omaha, 9, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and 10, Columbus, Ohio. Well, Brad and I want to talk a little bit about some projects that are going to be coming before the planning board next week. It's going to be a busy planning board meeting because all sorts of things are happening. And Brad, I'm just going to throw out a couple of these projects and then I'll let you elaborate on them if that's fair. The first one is called the Forever North Project. It is located near 24th and Lake Street. What do we have there?
It was a building that was demolished, and then right now it's empty. There's a little bit of parking on there. It's going to be a two four-story buildings. One of them is going to be office with some ground floor retail. That's on Lake Street, and then that's along 24th, and then along Lake there'll be a 4-story multifamily building, 80 multifamily units, and have some underground parking, I believe, under the office building.
And my assumption is, and if I'm wrong, we'll say so next week, but my assumption is that's going to be North End Teleservices putting their offices there because there was some sort of news that came out earlier this year saying that North End was going to build an office near 24th and Lake area. So I would be shocked if that's not them. That company's grown pretty fast and is a big employer on the north side. Yeah,
it's a great project for the area. There's that 24th and Lake area, real nice corridor, so it's going to be a nice addition.
Okay, well, let's stay kind of on the eastern side of Omaha. And the next one is really exciting because it's going to be more growth and development on the riverfront, specifically Riverfront Place. Now, Riverfront Place would be those 2 condos that are right by the Bob Carey pedestrian bridge and the Gallup operational headquarters. What are they, about 12 stories?
Yeah, somewhere in that ballpark.
12 stories. So tell us what's planned for Riverfront Place.
Well, there's always been 2 empty lots that have been for sale kind of on the northwest corner of that property. And now there's a 5-story building proposed, have underground parking or first floor parking and then 4 stories above it. So it should be a nice addition, a few more residents down there on the riverfront.
Yeah, and I think we are only beginning to see what is potential or what is possible on the riverfront. When you look at renderings of the $300 million park rehab that is underway. People have even talked about squeezing in some multifamily buildings on the north side of Heartland of America Park. And we know that a lot of multifamily is planned for the Mercantile, which is the north side of the old ConAgra campus. So we're probably going to continue to see riverfront living options over the next several years, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think it's only going to grow, and we really need to get that proposed secondary bridge built to connect the North Riverfront to the ballpark area.
Yeah, the one that some people call the Baby Bob.
Baby Bob, yeah. It's that connection. It's just such a far distance between the north end of the riverfront and then down by the Jean Leahy Mall that we really need a middle connection to get those residents into the area.
Yeah, that'll help tremendously. Now, I know that's getting close, but it seems like it's been getting close for 5 years now, but I think it's getting close.
In my opinion, it should have been done when the ballpark was built.
Which is a fair point. Why didn't we? Well, we can't redo the past, but I completely agree with that. All right, let's go out west. The Antler View development is on the the southeast corner of 192nd and West Maple, and there's about a 4 or 5 story Holiday Inn Express there. DJ's Dugout, Proof. I love Proof. There's one of those here in Midtown Crossing. But now we're talking about Antler View West.
Yeah, it's going to be a very similar development. There's basically you got the corner of 192nd and Maple on the southwest corner. And right now, all they have proposed is kind of the ring road. You know, a lot of those developments have a big lot in the middle and then a ring road around them and then a lot of retail on the busy side of the ring road. And so that right now they're only showing the development on the outside of the ring road and nothing proposed for that big lot in the middle.
Okay, staying on that West Maple corridor, let's go about a mile to the east, and we get to 180th Street, southeast corner. That's where Costco is coming. We've talked about that, and I know a lot of people are extremely excited about getting that third Costco, hopefully because it will relieve some pressure from the West Dodge Costco. But we're making a little progress next week on that.
Yeah, the planning board has the site plan next week, and it's pretty typical what we were expecting, big Costco in the middle, and then a bunch of outlots around the Maple and the 180th Street sides.
Next project coming before the planning board next week is 204th in the West Dodge area. On the northwest corner, there's a Menards home improvement store, and then all sorts of small businesses, fast food, that sort of thing in that area. And a lot of people, when they go through that little street that goes to the Menards and all that stuff, they're complaining about the traffic. Looks like we could have a solution to that problem.
Yeah, it's not a planning board item, but there was an RFP out by the city that they want to put a roundabout there, kind of by that Hardee's and the Dairy Queen, just to kind of relieve the traffic of that busy intersection.
And if you go further south on 204th Street and you get to the Q area, my gosh, they've been grading like crazy there. I mean, on almost every corner, there's all sorts of dirt work and groundwork going on. But on the northeast corner of 204th and Q Street, it looks like we now know at least one of the first businesses that will be going in northeast of 204th and Q. Yeah,
on the northeast is the North Streams development, and there's going to be a Christian Brothers Automotive, and like you said, across the street to the west, they're grading for Kensington Park, which is another big mixed-use development. There's just nonstop activity on that 204th Street corridor. On that Kensington Park to the west, we do know that a Tommy's Express car wash is planned for that. And then on the southeast corner, there's a nice residential subdivision going in. Yep.
And on the southwest corner is Coventry, which has been growing like crazy. Rusty Taco recently opened. A Starbucks is just about to open there.
There's the Rose at Coventry, which are under construction right now, which is a bunch of row houses. And then right by the ACX Theater, there's a whole nother development similar to that Prairie Queen development, Papillion.
Yeah, the area is just en fuego, to be sure. And it's only a matter of time before people are saying, why didn't they make 204th Street 6 lanes? It would have been nice. Or a freeway.
A freeway is what would be great.
Well, that is your news of the week, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, EagleMortgageCompany.com. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, live from Sofra Kitchen inside Midtown Crossing, we're going to be talking with Amanda Lustgraaf of Midtown Crossing. She's going to be telling us about all sorts of new businesses that have opened in this this development recently or are coming. And we'll also hear about some new office space in this area. So much to talk about. Stay with us. You're listening to Jeff Beals and Brad Williams substituting for Trenton Magid live from Sofra Kitchen in Midtown Crossing on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. All right, Amanda, you ready?
Cheers, yeah.
Come on over.
Where would you like me to
Get a little hand cramp on my It's like,
we like to hand hold them because so you're not leaning like this.
Right.
And but yeah, you get a little tired. Hey, don't need this one anymore. So Heath, what do you think? What'd you order?
The lox and eggs.
Ooh, the
It looks good.
The lox and eggs might even be better than the lox on.
And the toast.
Where's that one? Oh, lox Benedict? Oh yeah, I might have to get that. Lox Benedict? I might have to get that one.
That sounds good.
Yeah. See, it's good that we're waiting after the show, so second breakfast is...
You'll be remotely hungry by then.
I mean, I'm already starving. I remember one time, I can't remember who it was, but I had said, we were at some party or whatever, and I said, gosh, I'm so full. And the guy that was there was like, full? What's full? I've never been, what is this full? I've never been full.
You heard a challenge.
And I got thinking, yeah, it's not full, it doesn't usually last very long. Full, what's
it's like when you eat like Indian food or Chinese food, you feel like you have all that rice stuffed in like a half hour later. You're like, got a snack around here?
I know, that's a problem because Stephanie and I love Indian food so much. And yeah, when you're first time, you're like, oh my God, I ate too much. You're right. It's like all of a sudden you're hungry again. It's not as bad as Chinese food. Chinese food is the worst for that. Like, yeah, like if I have Chinese food for lunch, which I love, you literally, like later in the middle of the afternoon, like, you're looking for like, yeah, it's weird. All right.
So this breaks short usually. This breaks short usually.
Yeah. A little longer today than usual.
What's that?
Is this your first time on the show?
Yep.
Molly finally let you do it instead of her.
So I need to
Just wait, you said like public speaking. There's
Yes.
no one looking at you. You're just talking.
Right? It's just chit-chatting around the table.
Okay. Okay.
What do you
About
say?
5 seconds now. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals broadcasting live from Midtown Crossing, Sofra Kitchen, sitting next to my good friend Brad Williams, who is of Brad Williams Photography and E&A Consulting, substituting for Trenton today. And we are live, like I said, at Sofra Kitchen. I tell you what, if you come here, you can get the Italian omelet. Italian sausage, peppers, and tomatoes with herbs, provolone cheese, served with hand-cut oven roasted potatoes. Sounds pretty good. Well, Midtown Crossing is really doing well lately, so we're going to find out what's happening here. We have with us Amanda Lustgraaf from Midtown Crossing. Good morning, Amanda.
Morning. Thanks for coming.
Well, thanks for hosting us out here. This place is amazing. It's beautiful.
We love it. I mean, to your point, the lox avocado there's something delicious for everyone. The way the light shines in this place in the morning, it's fabulous. It's fun to see brunch goers first thing on Saturday morning.
Well, we'll talk about some of the new retail and restaurant businesses that have recently opened or are coming. But first of all, there are now office spaces that people can lease here at Midtown Crossing.
There is office space. So we call it the offices at Turner Park. It's between Turner Park and Dodge Street. So you get that Dodge Street frontage, floor-to-ceiling windows, truly that live, work, play experience that people are looking for. Visit Omaha will be opening in one of the suites here in the next month or so, which will be great to see.
Okay, and the other thing that before we get into the retail talk, we understand that there's some good news on the condominium front in Midtown Crossing.
Yes, absolutely. So Midtown Crossing is a very desirable community from the residential perspective as well. Our condos have recently fully sold out. The apartments are owned by an outside group, but are fully leased as well and continue to be, high occupancy as well.
Okay, and so when I think a lot of people think of Midtown Crossing, they think of the condos and the apartments and all that sort of thing. But retail here is great. And ever since day one, when you guys opened, you've had good restaurant and retail options. Why don't we go through and kind of talk about some that have opened lately, and then after that, maybe we can talk about some that are coming.
I love it. It's been a great second half of the year here at Midtown, especially in terms of retail. So we're here at Sofa Kitchen, breakfast, brunch, lunch concept. They opened in September and have been doing great. Next door is Chef Around the Block. It's a pop-up shop. So they host chefs. So every time you go, there's a new menu, which is a fun new twist. And then Rexius Nutrition recently opened in the last few weeks as well, here on Farnham Street, known for their health and wellness products and expertise.
That the Chef Around the Block is a very interesting concept. How does that work? Is there like one person managing and then they invite the chefs in, so you're always going to have the same servers and employees, or?
Good question. So it's run by Chef Dan Benigno, and so he works that chef community and hosts them. And so it's great for those chefs and up and coming culinarians that are looking for a space, looking to test out different concepts, different menus, and do it in a flexible space and one night at a time.
So how did that come about? It's clever business. How did that come about that they ended up being here at Midtown Crossing?
Yeah, it's a great story. A connection, as so much is in Omaha, and an individual looking for the space and a great space to be had. They're right in the heart of the action and ready to go for pop-ups. It's been everything, in the past few weeks, from ramen to barbecue to vegan to a mashed potato bar that we keep hearing about as well. So it's been a fun addition.
It's a really cool concept just because, a restaurant, it's grueling work. It's really tiring. The chefs and the owners put in tons and tons of hours. So, something like this is cool because then they can collaborate and stay inspired. And it's really a neat idea.
Try new things, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there are other retail businesses that are coming. And let's just kind of go through a couple of those. Share with us what's new.
Absolutely. So Sea Thai actually opened this week as well. Local Thai food restaurant, sister concept to Mai Tai in Exarban and out west. Had a killer pad thai there this week that you've got to check out. So they're open now. Stories Coffee Company, and you'll get to talk to Dan here shortly. We'll be opening very soon as well. Visit Omaha, just around the corner as well.
So, Sea Thai, tell me a little bit about that. First of all, where in Midtown Crossing is it located?
Yeah, so they're right in the heart of the action here on Farnham Street. A few doors down from Chase Bank. We're looking across the street here, just a few doors to the east. They've got everything from pad thai. They also have a lot of seafood options if that's what you're looking for. And they just opened Thursday.
Okay, so they're brand new.
Brand new.
And we love giving breaking restaurant news.
That's right.
Here on Girl Omaha. Visit Omaha, going into the offices at Turner Park. It's my understanding that that's going to be some pretty edgy, innovative-looking office space.
They're going to have a great spot. Their space overlooks Turner Park. They've got a conference room that, with a movable wall, opens up to the patio and a fireplace. Truly that live, work, play. Hosting guests in from out of town and truly selling them on Omaha. What better space to do it?
Are they in the old Canteen Laredo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because Canteen Laredo always had those cool fire pits you could see.
And the fire pit's still there.
Nice.
Oh, I'm glad they're keeping that.
Yes.
That's really cool. So you also mentioned Milan Laser Hair Removal. That's a cool Omaha success story. They started here, and I think it was about June or July, somewhere around there. They passed 200 locations in the nation, and it sounds like they're going to keep expanding. You know, you
Yeah.
guys are one of many new places around the United States to get a Milan laser hair removal.
We're excited to grow that service category, and those millennials that are looking for more services in the neighborhood, and they'll be opening later this month as well.
I feel like Midtown's always had a lot of great services between the bank and the barber shop, and there's a financial, Callahan Financial, and it's just a lot of, it's a live-work neighborhood.
Exactly.
You know, you guys are right between the Blackstone district and downtown, and the Blackstone district, like Midtown Crossing, has been a big success. How does Midtown Crossing and the Blackstone district complement one another? Do you guys do businesses over there? Do you communicate with them? Do you do certain things in cooperation or something like that?
Yeah, they're a great group. We collaborate with them quite frequently. We actually just this summer hosted a joint Q&A on the streetcar with the Blackstone retailers, which was a great kind of meet and greet opportunity for those neighbors. We are so close and incredibly walkable, especially over the last few years.
All right. Well, you mentioned streetcar,
Yes.
and everyone around here is getting pretty excited.
Absolutely.
2026, in some ways, is a long ways away, but in other ways, it'll be the blink of an eye, and it'll be
Exactly.
here. So, what is Midtown Crossing going to be like when that streetcar opens? Because it will go right down Farnham Street, which is the spine of Midtown Crossing.
It really is. There's a whole lot of excitement in the neighborhood. I can tell you, from individual retailers to residents as well. There's a whole lot of excitement and a lot of buzz. And to your point, 2026 really isn't that far away in the grand scheme of things. So we're excited.
I know with the construction projects, it seems like, 2026 is a long time away, but when you start seeing activity, and you're going to have
Exactly.
2-3 years of construction, it'll go by quick because there'll always be something new to look at every time you go by.
Exactly.
Well, and for people like Brad and me, we almost rather it just be under construction because it gives us more to talk about, and we can geek out on it and just love all the construction.
Sometimes when it's in the road, it gets a little tiring driving
Oh,
around.
bite your tongue.
But
Progress.
the interesting thing, though, is when Midtown Crossing was built, they actually removed the original streetcar tracks out of this road, and now they're going to be putting them back.
It all
bit of
comes
irony.
full circle.
Yeah.
So, Amanda, as we look forward to 2023, what about the next year makes all of you at Midtown Crossing kind of optimistic and excited, if you will?
Yeah, absolutely. The retail community, we're a different development today than we were even 6 months ago. And so, and it's a lot of local players that we're excited, that are great partners, great neighbors to each other, really get the neighborhood and are excited to be here. I can tell you our event calendar is also really filling out. So in Turner Park, we typically have about 100 or so events every year. That's looking strong as well. So from every angle, we're excited and geared up for the new year.
Oh, I just thought of one other thing I want to throw out before we wrap up. In order to make way for those offices at Turner Park where Visit Omaha is going, and there's space for some other office users, a couple of the businesses that were over there moved to a different part of Midtown Crossing. Tell
Exactly.
us about that, just in case some people haven't been aware of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Proof Whiskey Bar and Craft Cocktails and Ray's Wings Pizza and Drinks, both relocated within Midtown Crossing, just a few steps to the west. So they're now on the west end of Turner Park. If people are familiar with Thirst Tea and the game area, they're here on the west end. Both have beautiful patio spaces in the summer and have it decorated really nice for the holidays, and are doing really well in their new spaces and thriving.
Well, I'm a big fan of Proof. My favorite cocktail of all time is a New Orleans Sazerac cocktail.
Okay.
And the one that Proof has is about as good a one as you'll find in Omaha
There
anywhere.
you go. Well, if
Yeah.
you're a cocktail guy, you got to come back next Saturday. It's the holiday cocktail crawl around here. Everyone's doing a specialty holiday cocktail next Saturday from 2 to 5. Proof
There
included.
you go.
Hell yes. Sign me up, Brad. Are we coming?
Sign up and then get a room at the Element, too. when you're done.
Exactly.
That might be a good idea. Well, Amanda, thanks for hosting us here at Midtown Crossing and Sofra Kitchen today, and congratulations to you and all your colleagues for the wonderful things happening in this whole part of town that Midtown Crossing has kicked off.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Amanda Lustgraaf from Midtown Crossing. We are live at Sofra Kitchen. Get out here today and try some of this amazing brunch food. I tell you, I've been looking at the brunch breakfast items, but if you flip the menu over, there's all sorts of lunch items as well. Good stuff. Beautiful atmosphere. At any rate, you're listening to Jeff Beals and Brad Williams substituting for Trenton Magid. And we are going to return to Sofa Kitchen just after a few moments on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Let's switch back. I'll take that one.
Good interview, Amanda.
Yeah, put that one on the stand, and that one was. That's all right. We just did a quick audible, and it all worked out.
We're starting to get a little bit of that crackle.
It was great.
Yeah.
You asked the first question, and you looked at me, and for some reason, I had a question ready. And as soon as you looked at me, it was
lost it?
Gone. I was
You're
like,
the only one that happens to.
Oh, yeah.
and I was like, no.
For doing this for almost 20 years, that has happened to me so many times I can barely. Yeah, you get to the point where you just blurt something out. Yeah.
And I feel like when I'm interviewing, I always want to have one question ready to go. So I think about it for more than average amount of time. Maybe that's why I thought about it too long.
And you could probably do this interview in Midtown. I mean, you've been with us
Oh,
and
yeah.
photographed everything and been at every event.
Yeah, he probably knows Midtown about as well as people that.
Well, I said something about Callahan. I'm like, I hope you're still down there.
Yes. You're kind of nodding like, yes, you're right. That's funny.
Yeah, that'd be the worst. Yeah, Dan, come on over.
Good job. Thank you.
We're ready for the next hot seater.
It's kind of a long break, so.
Is it? Okay, well, I got you guys some gifts here, too.
Awesome.
So, it's our holiday blend.
Thank you so much.
You want to water? Sure.
Oh, yeah, Chris is a big coffee fan. He's from Seattle.
Oh, you are?
He loves
Yeah.
coffee.
Nice.
Yeah.
Should have brought more. We'll get some. You guys as well.
That was on my grocery list. It was coffee. So.
There you go.
My,
We were talking about before you got here that you guys did a collaboration with Cross-Train with that
Yeah.
coffee.
Yeah.
I took some to Jeff's house last year for Christmas party. That's some really good beer. Really
It's cool. Yeah, I thought, initially we were talking about like a stout or
Yeah,
something.
which is what everyone does.
But yeah, I mean, they're so creative. They threw it into their Hell's Creek.
Yeah.
They did our Costa Rican, which that has a little bit of Costa Rican in it, but it had some Madagascar vanilla beans and mad scientist type of stuff. But,
Okay.
I don't know how
That's
they
good.
come up with. It's like every week, here's 3 new beers. How do you keep reinventing the wheel every single week? But they do.
I think there's a lot of beer involved. They're sitting around with.
Beer enhances creativity.
Oh, yeah.
So does caffeine.
Yeah, it does.
So, for the novel companies thing, I'm just going to mention I took a walk around Midtown and walked by those 6 condo row houses they have at 38th and Dewey. I think they call them
Okay.
Dewey Rows.
They're called at Market at Exarban's today too.
Is that today?
Yeah.
Okay.
The big, huge tent was set
Okay.
up last night.
Why don't I mention the Dewey Rows, and then I'll just point to you, and you can bring up the holiday market at Exarban.
Okay.
Speaking of Germany, Germany is famous for these Christmas markets.
Oh, really?
That they have. Like, yeah, I've never been to one. It was the only time I was in Germany was in the summer, but apparently, like, a lot of Americans will plan vacations and they'll have like a big square in the downtown area,
Total bucket list.
and they have a Christmas market. I've been kind of thinking Omaha should do that. Like, we got you guys at Turner Park, we got the new Jean Leahy Mall, we got Exarban Village. One of those places could do it. Now it's tricky because they last for like a couple weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
But when they catch on, they become like a tourist attraction. The only risky thing in Omaha is if it's a typical December, it works great.
Yeah.
But what if you have like a solid week of below zero? Because I can remember one year when I was in college, the first week of December it was like right before finals week, we had like 5 days in a row which it never got above zero, which is freakish.
Yeah.
But it can happen. Whereas in Germany, it's more mild. It's cold, but it's not you don't go like 0 degrees, then blizzard or whatever. Yeah.
50-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah. So if it's a typical December, it works. If it's not,
Yeah.
you could invest a lot for nothing. Yeah.
We do a lot about those weather requests for events. Like,
Yeah.
did you put in the request? Okay, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Amanda, that's part of the ride, right?
Exactly.
Walking into the Baxter Arena last night,
Yeah.
and that wind.
Oh, jeez.
It was like the kids, our youngest, our daughter was like this with her head down on my shoulder. Just felt like you're being sandblasted.
Oh,
It was-
yeah. That's horrible. Well, it's crazy because at about 1:30, I came down to the Midtown area. I chose it for today, where I was going to take my walk. I took a whole hour walk from about 1:30 to 2:30. 58 degrees.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I get in my car at 5 o'clock to go home. Car says 34 degrees. So in 2 hours, we lost 24 degrees.
And gained about 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
My truck bed cover blew off on 275. It was flopping like this. And a pole came over. I had to drive up to West Point. And the kids were freaking out in the back. But it must have lifted right up underneath and through.
Yeah. Did you see the construction fence at UNMC?
No.
Where they're doing the old Monroe and Meyer demolition?
Yeah.
The whole construction fence is blown over.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, jeez.
Our inside sign must have taken a hit too.
That wind inside the building was rough.
We'll rebuild though. We'll get back.
I believe.
You're sticky up there.
I believe in you. I believe in you. You're going to do a GoFundMe to kind of help with the rebuilding costs?
Yep. I need to grab my water though. A lot of coffee.
So Dan, are you from Omaha?
From O'Neill, Nebraska.
Oh, Neil.
originally.
Okay. The Irish.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they got a big old shamrock in the middle of 281 and 20. And
It's been a long time since I've been through there.
it's fun to visit. My parents still live up there, but and my he's part of the business. We roast our own coffee, so he roasts them up there quite a bit actually. So yeah, 73 years old. He's just rocking and rolling.
Gets up every day and roast coffee?
Almost every day. It's a couple days a week.
Something he's always done, or just since you got in the business?
We started about 15 years ago as a hobby.
Yeah.
I was living in Phoenix, brought a little coffee roaster up on the airplane as a carry-on, and we just started roasting it, him and I and my brothers, and people kind of latched onto it. And, they had Folgers, and then they tried this stuff, and like, this is different. So it started getting bigger. We had to get a bigger roaster, another bigger one, and now it's.
Do you have a business up there selling coffee too? Or a coffee shop?
He does. Yeah. It's not a coffee shop. So it's a big roastery. We just bought a new building. It's about 7,000 square foot. You buy an O'Neill, 7,000 square foot, it's a lot cheaper. Bought it for $140,000. Wow. So insurance said you had to cover it for $1 million though, because that's what it's worth.
Yeah.
So we're moving into that this upcoming first part of next year.
We're starting, guys. Okay. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Brad Williams is here as well, substituting for Trenton Magid. We are live from Sofra Kitchen inside Midtown Crossing. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. And it is time for our commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, brought to you by Noddle Companies. Noddle Companies, the premier real estate developer in Omaha, doing projects in town like Exarban Village, Builders District, River's Edge, and so many more. And one of their projects is actually residential. I was taking a walk around Midtown yesterday before the wind started. It was so beautiful. And I walked by the Dewey Rose at 38th Avenue and Dewey Street, just east of the Med Center, looking great. 6 row houses there. Looks like at least one's still available. And Brad, you have something for another Noddle Companies project.
Yeah, down in Exarban, their holiday market is this weekend. Back, I think they took a couple years off, and back today and tomorrow, 10 to 5, I believe.
I'm going to try and stop by that because holiday markets are just fun. I love the stuff they sell there, and it's very festive, obviously.
Nice big heated tent on a day like today, too.
Well, if you want to learn more about Noddle Companies, just go to noddlecompanies.com and check out their developments. They're best known for Exarban, but they have so many other things going on too. One that I didn't mention was Steel Ridge in Sarpy County, where there's a lot of industrial construction going on. Noddlecompanies.com, sponsor of our development spotlight. Well, we're going to introduce you now to Dan Loutzenhiser. He is the owner of Stories Coffee, an amazing place. Dan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I am probably in your 114th and Davenport place minimum once a week, because basically if someone says, okay, I want to meet you for coffee, all right, where are we going? Chances are there's a 50% chance we're meeting at Stories Coffee.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are the place for people to have business meetings.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's just such a vibrant
great location. We opened in a pretty crazy time in 2020, but we've been fortunate. It's been fun to see the growth and to see people in there on a regular basis and create community space for meetings and Bible studies and get-togethers. So, yeah, we're just really happy with that location and kind of where we're going for our next one here.
And that next location is right across the street from where we are sitting right now. We're in Sofa Kitchen. I look across the street and I see the Stories Coffee sign. So you're getting close
Yes,
to
sir.
opening at Midtown.
Yes, we are super excited, anticipating an opening here really soon. I think we're shooting for December 12th. We're going to open with some temporary hours for the first week, and then once those kinks have been worked out, go full force for morning up until evening. So
how'd you get into the coffee business?
So several years ago, my father and I just started as a hobby, roasting coffee, and it grew. More people wanted to experience our coffee, even start buying it, and a hobby turned into a small business, and we opened up the coffee shop in 2020 on 114th Street. We were both, my wife and I, full-time in healthcare.
Yeah.
And jumped full force into the restaurant world, and it was a crazy year, and it still is with the growth and everything. But it's been fun to see and to look back and to see where we're at now.
It's always awesome when hobbies turn into businesses. People love them. I always joke that my photography business is a hobby that got out of control. That's what it feels like.
Yep.
But it's great to see those stories because you're so much more invested in it and involved.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So in addition to this new one that's coming to Midtown Crossing, not too long ago, you opened up one in Gretna.
Yes.
Tell us about that one.
So Gretna, a community we've been, wanting to get in for a bit, and just found the perfect spot there on 204th Street. Opened that one in August, and are just getting into the community and the school system, trying to get our word out. And I think it's been cool to see the community embrace it. It opened in August, and then coming here in December.
So the new one across the street from where we are right now here in Midtown Crossing, what will be different about this Midtown Crossing location compared to your existing stores?
Well, they weren't able to put a drive-through in, so
I don't see one.
Asked very specifically if that was possible, and they said no. But it's going to be very similar. Outside of that, we'll have same hours, same menu, same hopefully vibrant energy. And I think what a lot of people come and experience at our other locations is just they always recognize somebody, and they always feel like this is the place to be. And I hope that carries over here, and I think it will.
Yeah, I work right by your 114th location. I see that drive-through back. It goes quick, but there's a lot of people that use it, so I can imagine that was on the top of your list.
Yeah. It's a nice option for people to have. We'll do curbside and try to appeal to people that are in a hurry. We do have systems in place to ensure that we can get people their orders quickly.
Being that this is a walkable neighborhood, you're probably going to have a lot more people stop by on foot too.
Yep.
Yeah, Midtown Crossing is basically a downtown.
Yeah.
And so it's the businesses here, cars are walkers. Instead of cars, you have pedestrians.
Yep.
And it just kind of works out well that way. And coffee shops, you've done very well in a suburban environment, but coffee shops I've always felt have a little bit of an urban vibe to them.
Totally.
Even the ones out in the suburbs.
Yep.
So, at any rate, December 12th is when we're targeting, but give or take a few days, depending on how all of the logistics come together.
All those little things behind the scenes, but that's what we're shooting for.
Okay, well, Dan, we appreciate you joining us. Congratulations to you and your family on your business's success. And as soon as you're up and running here in Midtown Crossing, we'll come down and have a cup and see what the new place is like.
Appreciate that. Thanks for having us on.
All right, that's Dan Loutzenhiser, owner of Stories Coffee, coming later this month to Corner Space along Farnham in Midtown Crossing. Well, we are live in Midtown Crossing, and we have the Turner Construction Lightning Round coming up, so we're going to take our final break of the hour. When we come back, it looks like there's a lot of things on my list to go over, so you don't want to miss any of this. You're listening to Jeff Beals and Brad Williams of Brad Williams Photography and E&A Consulting, subbing for Trenton Maggot. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Do you have the same food
Hey,
menu
how
at
you
all
doing?
locations?
Yeah.
to see you.
Except for we have Brew Levies and like Nature's are smaller, so we don't have all the.
honored to have you here.
So you named coffee shop in Louisville or just?
Yeah, there's a barista. Okay. So they have the same machine, Lamorzogo espresso machine, all that inside the restaurant.
Okay. I've eaten there, but I guess I didn't really pay attention. I just assumed I was drinking your coffee and that was the extent of it.
Yeah, it's right on the end of the bar.
Okay.
Towards kind of the patio area.
Oh, that's probably why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys mind if I get a selfie for?
Oh, yeah,
good.
go for it.
Getting the photographer even too. Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Well, thanks for bringing the coffee.
Hey, thanks for supporting us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you guys have any feedback, any opportunities for getting the word out, just please.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll as soon as you open, we'll have it in the newsletter. And did you get the newsletter? Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We'll have it in there, and anytime you guys have, when you open up that next one, keep us informed.
See the Costco stuff on 180th and Maple.
Yeah.
That's that would be a sweet spot. I think it needs a local coffee shop up in that area.
There's going to be in that mile radius a ton of lots. Between that, across the street's the Maple 180 that they're trying to put. I think there's 6 or 8 retail lots in there.
Is that the Fleet Farm?
No, then that's on the west side.
Okay.
On the northeast corner.
The northeast is Arun's deal on it.
Oh, yeah.
180.
Oh yeah.
But then won't Fleet Farm also have some outlots?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's already one thing going up there. So.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll keep our eyes open.
Our office is right by 114th and Dodge. And I'll just tell you, your coffee cups are.
10 seconds.
I see them in the office almost daily.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you. And it's the Turner Construction Lightning Round, where we go through a lot of different Grow Omaha stories in a short period of time. Thank you, Turner Construction, for making this possible for everyone. Turner is one of the world's most known and respected construction companies. They're all over the place, but here in Omaha, they are a part of our local business community. Got an office in the 114th and Dodge area, but they're doing projects all over town. Of course, they're famous for the Sarpy County Data Center, which is like a square mile of data centers.
Every time I drive by that, I'm just amazed because it just keeps going and going, and there's another building every time I feel like.
And they're not done because they're grading more land to the south and southwest.
Unbelievable. These data centers are just so big.
They are. They're fun. It's fun to go and look. But Turner also does, retail build-outs and office build-outs and everything in between, and very good and pleasant people to work with. So thank you, Turner Construction, for supporting the lightning round. So, Brad, okay, we've got a new pizza place. It's called Dolomiti Pizzeria in Enoteca. It is a wood-fired pizza place, and it's going into the Ashton building, which is part of Millwork Commons in North Downtown.
Beautiful building, a lot of great businesses in there. I was just down last week meeting with an architecture firm at the Millwork, the Draftworks, Cross-Train Draftworks, and beautiful place. They just don't build buildings like that anymore.
No.
18-inch square timbers in there. It's just a neat building.
I can remember taking a client through that building years ago when it was just an empty building, and that use didn't happen. And I'm thankful it didn't, because what's there now is
great.
so cool.
And that park across the street is so cool too.
Oh yeah, that park is that is the most perfect urban pocket park that I think I've ever seen. So anyway, this Dolomiti Pizzeria looks like it'll be pretty good. Now, this is kind of a big story. A lot of you may be familiar with a shop down in Lincoln called Mercado Butcher Shop. You've been hearing a lot about certified Piedmontese beef. They serve that. They have a restaurant attached to it in Lincoln. Anyway, they're going to open up an Omaha butcher shop. They're just saying somewhere near 168th and West Maple Road, most likely in the first half of 2023. Most people are thinking, I wonder if it's that one strip center that was built. It's actually probably more like 171st or 72nd.
Yeah, 75th.
It's been stone cold empty since it was done, but it's a very attractive looking strip center.
Sure is.
So maybe there, who knows?
Their building down in Lincoln's really cool on South 84th Street, out kind of by the highway there. really neat timber buildings.
Yeah, and the product is very good. Everyone loves this certified
Several of them in the
Piedmontese beef.
freezer right now.
Yeah, it's a good product. So I'm glad they're coming to Omaha. Camp Blackstone is now open in the former Switch Food Hall. This is 3618 Farnham Street in the Blackstone district, immediately north of the Cottonwood Blackstone Hotel. And so it'll be interesting to see how this goes, Brad. So they're going to have 4 concepts. The first one is called Single Double. It's a burger place. It's open. Over the next couple months, the other 3 food concepts that are going to open are going to be called Camp Concessions, Angel Wings, and Nice Rolls. I popped my head in yesterday. Looks really nice. There were a bunch of people middle of the afternoon sitting at the bar. I was a little bit surprised that Switch didn't stay, but this camp place looks pretty cool.
It is interesting, though, they open a food hall and only have the first concept open. Because a lot of people like going to the food halls because then there's a variety to choose from. So hopefully they get the other 3 online pretty quickly.
Yeah, you bring you and 3 coworkers and everyone can have their own thing. That's what's great about food halls. But yeah, we'll keep our eye on that. Should be pretty good. Mercer and Sons Delicatessen opened a couple weeks ago at 509 South 11th Street in the Old Market, just north of La Bouvette. I popped my head in there as well, and it's a beautiful space.
Yeah, your picture on our social media pages looked really nice.
Yeah, so that's really starting to take off.
It's great seeing new stuff come in the Old Market. We've had a few new businesses open up down there in the last year or so. It's nice to have something new and fresh down there.
Oh yeah, like one of those was Gather, and went to dinner at Gather for the first time a few weeks ago, and I loved it. I thought, and the atmosphere in there is beautiful.
Yeah, and then there was the sandwich shop that opened up down there too. Made the big pastrami sandwiches.
Oh yeah, Phil's Deli. Yeah. So looking a little further out west, we have a Casey's General Store is going into part of Old Elkhorn.
Yeah, 204th Street between Blondo and Maple. On the east side, there's a lot of there's a dairy, ice cream shop there.
Dairy Chef. That's
kind of
famous.
Dairy Chef. Yep.
Yeah, people love that Dairy Chef.
Yeah.
The Let It Fly podcast is about ready to open, and it's going to broadcast live from the new Let It Fly store, which will open later this summer. The podcast will start before the bar opens. We're out of time.
Yeah,
Music's
I hear
playing.
the music. So,
Brad Williams, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. We'll see you tomorrow.
Brad Williams Photography. Your show is brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. We'll chat with you next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB. If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.